Hello every pony! This is Springheart the Llama, and the My Little Pony movie came out, and I left that movie theater filled with glee. This, in a genre now filled with an abundancy of CGI-dominated movies, was a breath of fresh air. I, simply put, miss 2D animated movies. Going into the movie, I was a little leery of these new designs, because as a fan, seeing something one way for so long and then seeing them try to change it can be scary, but in this case, it worked. By using Boom Toon and creating new rigged puppets, the animators were able to do things that the TV show puppets just weren't capable of doing without looking super bizarre. They were able to stretch and move in ways that simply were breathtaking. Every time Tempest was on screen was a delight for the eyes. The backgrounds were visually stunning. It was very refreshing to see the landscapes of Equestria and the world it resides in have some depth. They pulled this off by not vector drawing their backgrounds like they did in the show. With the style of the TV show, although they have a depth, there's still that feeling of flatness because they don't have shadows. Though there were a few times in the movie that it was very obvious that these were clearly 3D models instead of drawn backgrounds. Or objects. I'm looking at you, cage that Twilight could clearly walk out of. The writing was fairly good and steadily paced. If you were a newcomer to this series, it wasted no time in organically and brilliantly introducing you to the main six and the world they lived in, through visuals, body language, dialogue, and a catchy opening number. And if you're a longtime fan, you get to sit back and please don't make this a drinking game of how many cameos can we fit in this opening segment? And all of this was within approximately the first 15 minutes, quick and to the point and without feeling rushed. But there were a few points in the movie where the writers just didn't seem to know what to do with characters, or they forced them to do things that went against things that they had already learned in the show. Like, they didn't know what to do with Fluttershy, and Twilight is the princess of friendship, not deceit. Like, it felt very forced, her trying to take the magical item from the sea ponies. I know it was to further the plot, but it felt very forced. But there's one thing that I simply can't shrug off, and that was the way they handled the Storm King. And I have nothing against the actor. He did a great job with what he was given. But that's just it. He was barely given anything. His backstory, his motivations, the reasoning behind all he does is explained in a different piece of media. They expect you to read another piece of media in order to understand this piece of media. The audience is given no chance to create any emotional connection to him because he's simply not there. So when he shows up at the end, you have no idea what he's capable of, and frankly, why you should care or be scared of him. You know what his minions are capable of, but not physically him. Why are Tempest and these goons working for him? What makes him so scary and badass that they'd listen to him? You don't know, because he's not given the screen time, or even a simple villain song to explain this. But pushing my dislike of how the Storm King was handled in this movie aside, I really enjoyed this movie as a whole. Sure, it has a few flaws here and there, but it's nothing that breaks the movie. There's a bright, colorful new cast of characters and fun, catchy songs to go along with it. And it has the same old gang that we've grown up to love and cherish over the last 7 seasons of My Little Pony. If you haven't seen it yet and you're a fan of the series, go watch it. It almost feels like a really well done multi-part episode. Now I want to hear from you. Who was your favorite character? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you'd like to know more of my thoughts on this movie, check out my top 5 likes and dislikes of the My Little Pony movie. This is Springheart the Llama, signing off and reminding you all, it's okay to be a drama llama every once in a while.